Good day, viewers. We are starting with part 2 of ballast water management, and we will be talking about the convention which has recently been approved by IMO. Here we can see a ship which is under construction, and there you can see the ballast water tanks which are there on all over the sides in the form of V with tree. These are the ballast water tanks, and there where the water is taken, and as you can see, this is a container vessel. So we are taking water in the ballast water tanks. So there is a new convention which has come in. We are talking about that. Okay, this ballast water management convention, this is the full name is the control and management of ships ballast water and sediments. Now see, the word sediment has also come in. Is a treaty adopted by the Internet IMO in order to help prevent the spread of potentially harmful aquatic, organic and pathogens in ships ballast water. We have discussed that in part 1. September 2017, ship must manage their ballast water so aquatic organisms and pathogens are removed or rendered harmless before ballast water is released into the new location. When the ship is traveling from one location to another location, there are aquatic organism and pathogen which is taken, and then we are, in case we discharge it in a new place, like if we take it somewhere in Australia or maybe in India, and we are discharging it in a remote place like USA, definitely the aquatic organism will be released there, and to prevent them so that this invasive species which are potentially harmful, they are already been eliminated. That is what all the ballast water management convention is there for. Now, what does it contain? This is important from the examination point of view and for the mariner's point of view. Look at it. First is the general provision, the definition, applicability, exception, exemption, equivalent compliance. Second is management and control requirement for ship ballast water management plan, which is now a requirement. Number 2, ballast water record book. Again, we have to maintain it for good 2 years. Ballast water management for ships, how the ballast water management has to be carried out. Ballast water exchange, that is again in the old form, that is D-1, but we are talking about D-2 now. Sediment management for ships, how you are going to manage the sediments which are there on the ships. Duties of officers and crew will be mentioned there. C1 is special requirement for certain area, any additional area which is there, with special area which is there, what additional measures are there. Warning concerning ballast water uptake in certain areas and related flag state measures, communication and information. Part D is standard for ballast water management. We are in D2 now. Ballast water exchange standard, exchange is gone now, and we have ballast water performance standard. What standard we have to maintain? Approval requirement for ballast water management system, in case we have a system by which all these aquatics are getting killed or eliminated, what should be the procedure? Prototype ballast water treatment technologies, what are the technologies which are being approved by IMO? Review and standard by the organization. What is the review and what are the standard by organization? Now, survey certification equipment, E1 is survey. Then insurance of endorsement of certificate, that this certificate we are endorsing, they are coming and checking for annual survey and intermediate survey. Insurance of endorsement by another third party, in case the present flag state or the classification is not available, they can tell you can carry out on our behalf. Form of certificate, how does the certificate look like? Duration and validity of certificate, which is 5 years, and then we have form of certificate and duration and validity. So this is the complete thing. Now there are few definitions. What is ballast water? We have discussed that a lot. Ballast water exchange is what exactly does mean. Ballast water exchange plan is the procedure and advice to safely and effectively exchange ballast water in accordance with applicable structure and stability requirement. Ballast water management, mechanical, physical, chemical and biological process. Now see, they have taken everything either singularly or combined to remove, render harmless or to avoid uptake or discharge of harmful aquatic organism and pathogens within ballast water and sediments. Ballast water management plan. The plan for handling the treating of ballast water on board to minimize the transfer of harmful organism or pathogen in the vessel's ballast water and sediment. But this will also cover the stability of the vessel. Now, next is the convention. We are talking about 2004 convention. Sediments are the matter settled of the ballast water within the ship, especially if you are in a river port. You will get a lot of sediments there. Ship is a vessel of any type. What is ship? When they talk about ship, they are talking about FSU, they are talking about FPSO also. Treatment is the process or mechanical, physical and chemical, biological method to kill and remove or render infertile, harmful or potentially harmful organism within the ballast water. Ballast water management plan. What will the ballast water management plan contain? Number 1 is ship's particulars, ballast tank arrangements, they will show diagrammatically. Safety consideration, what safety we have to do with respect to the stability of the ship and any other consideration. Detailed description of the action required by the crew to implement ballast water exchange plan, how they have to carry out. Detailed procedure for the disposal of sediment, how the sediments have to be disposed at sea or at ashore, how it has to be done. Other operational consideration including communication with reporting to coast and port and documentation requirement. Now here they want to know where exactly have you carried out the exchange, the location, how many hours it has taken, and this water, of course, they are going to take samples, especially in developed countries, to check if everything is in order. Detail of state authorities and the designation of officer on board who is responsible for proper implementation of ballast water management plan. Now, like we have a ship security officer, similarly for ballast water management plan, there is a designated officer. It can be the chief officer. Okay, mostly it is the chief officer who is responsible, and he is tomorrow, in case something is not working and he does not report to the master or the company, he will be directly responsible for that. Each operation concerning ballast water exchange is to be fully recorded without delay in the ballast water record book. These records are considered to be critical to the success of ballast water management program and serve to provide documentation that the ballast water exchange has been properly conducted and the exchange has been completed. I have already covered record books, in electronic record books, how exactly the records have to be maintained. It can be physical or it can be electronic. So ballast water record book, how it has to be mentioned is already been given here. Authorized port state officer may inspect the ballast water record book on board and as a mean to determine the level of exchange completed. These officials may elect to make a copy of the record book. Now, as per the latest SOLAS requirement, it is mandatory that in case an inspector comes and he says that, Captain, I need a copy of all your records, so Captain cannot deny it, he has to give it. Any copy so certified may be admissible to the judicial proceedings as an evidence of the facts stated in the entry. This is how old ballast water record book looks like, and I think we are still following the same, and which is going on since a long time. Sediment management. Now, regulation B5 of the convention requires that vessels should, without compromising safety of operation efficiency, be designed and constructed with the view to minimize the uptake and undesirable entrapment of sediment facilitate the removal of sediments and provide safe access to allow sediments removal and sampling. Now this has recently been added. Now there are few words which has to be kept in mind. Number one, without compromising safety or operational efficiency. So when we are constructing the complete ballast water system, we have to also consider that the operational efficiency is maintained. We are not wasting too much of time. Second is without compromising safety, because in case you are removing any of the sediments from a tank, it does not mean that your stability is having a trouble with respect to list trim or the GM. It has to maintain a positive GM. All has to be taken into account. The sediment accumulation is directly related to vessel's trading pattern for sure. Ballast tank designation and configuration, frequency in which the ballast is taken on board, frequency for removal and availability of reception facility, which is quite understanding. You are on a coastal vessel, you are on a river port, always trading in the river, naturally you are going to have more sediments. Where sediments has accumulated, consideration should be given to flushing the tank bottom and other surfaces in deep sea, such as more than 200 miles from the nearest land and water having a depth more than 200 meters, or area designated for ballast water exchange by the port or the coastal state. Now another important thing which is coming, area designated for ballast water exchange. It very clearly is mentioning, watch out for this. Okay, so in case you are carrying out any ballast water exchange, double check in case the port has designated in a ballast water exchange area, because once you reach in the port, they will say, is this area designated or not? Sediments in the ballast tank should be monitored on regular and removed on timely basis. It has to be either 3 monthly or 6 monthly, otherwise they will have unnecessary weight and your cargo taking capacity will, number one, reduce. Number two is you're carrying, it is also spoiling the pumps and machinery. So the sediments have to be regularly removed. This is the photo which is showing, and you can see a lightning hole. Around the lightning hole there is all the sediments which have been collected. Now B5 conclusion is that ballast water management should reflect the following. Number one, free or active biological agents, aquatic invasion, alien species, and what all they are there. So we are making the water completely free before intake and out and discharge. Chemical composition, no chemical element in toxic range. The toxicity, in case we are adding any chemicals, these chemicals should not be, they should be within the toxic range. Displacement, storage requirement, displacing sediments characteristics as harmful inappropriate sediment reception facility. In case you want to give it to them, then or you want to land it ashore, you have to be careful with this. Okay, let us look at the practical part of it, that how things are moving on the ship. Okay, number one is that the chemical composition, in case you are using a chemical composition, you are using a chemical, it has to be type approved. This is very important. And then you have, before you arrive in a port, you check, in case you are going to pump your ballast there, whether they have a ballast reception facility or not. These two things are reflecting very, very clearly, which a seaman, which a mariner has to be keep this in mind. Okay, what are the duties, especially the appointed man, where there is a designated person who is appointed to take charge of the ballast water. Number one is applicable responsibility of proper implementation of ballast water management plan, availability of personnel and equipment. If in case at night you require 1 or 2 people, they have to, communication has to be there, lights have to be there, they should have a proper flash guns, they should have a walkie-talkie. Okay, informing operator commencement, interruption, completion of ballast water exchange. This is regularly done on email as well as it is mentioned in the record book. maintaining of ballast water record book, preparation of appropriate national and port state ballast water reporting form. Now this ballast water reporting form, before you arrive in any standard port, make sure you get it through the agent, fill it up, keep it ready, and in case required to be sent prior berthing, please ensure it is sent to them as required, or also keep a copy, so when the port state or flag state comes, you can show it to them that we have already sent this reporting to them. Assisting the port state or quarantine officers with any sampling that may be required to be performed. Now the sampling points have come in, the port state control, the quarantine officers will come and they are going to check the samples, tell the ship to wait, and then they will say that now you can discharge, or you can discharge the ballast water, it is as per the requirement. Providing crew familiarization and training in ballast water exchange requirements and applicable shipboard system and procedures. Now, familiarization number one is done mostly on ships with CBTs, computer based training, and also it should be ship specific. That is very important, whether it is been made ship specific or not, and all the points which are there in the ballast water management plan has to be shown. So it should become part of the familiarization, ship's familiarization, and which has to be kept in mind. Other duties specified by the vessel's owners and operators, any additional measures which the owner and the operator has got it. Where transitory deviation of bridge visibility, propeller immersion and minimum draft forward during ballast water exchange acceptable, master is to be notified. Okay, in case every stage which is there, captain has to be told. In case we have got too much trim by stern, we inform the captain, maybe visibility can get hampered. Any boat which is nearby you cannot see. Propeller immersion, in case the propeller is coming out for some time, please inform the master, do we need to reduce the speed or something. Minimum draft forward, how much is the draft forward and aft, has to be informed and checked, and which has to be continuously notified. This is two things can be shown. Number one is security. You can see the barbed wire, but more than that, people are just having a look at the ballast tanks. Okay, and you can see the air pipes of the ballast water tank, and they are taking a sample, as well as they are also inspecting from top whether the water is clean or not. Additional measures, a country individually or jointly with other countries may impose ships additional measures to prevent, reduce or eliminate the transfer of harmful aquatic organism. Okay, when appropriate, country will have to obtain approval of IMO. Now this particular management plan has to be approved. Mariners are cautioned to check additional local regulation to ensure compliance, which I have already spoken before. Warning for ballast water uptake in certain area. Flag state shall notify area under their jurisdiction where ship should not uptake ballast water due to known conditions. Flag state shall include in such notice the precise coordination of the area, where possible the location of any alternative area to uptake of ballast water. This has to be kept in mind, and there should be a proper circular, or check with the local agents or check with the local authorities whether they have any restriction, do not take it from this area or something. So we have to keep in mind. Warning may be issued for areas known to contain outbreak, infection or population of harmful aquatic organism, near sewage outfall, wherever there is a sewage which is. Now let us talk about the survey system which is being carried out. And this survey which is going to be there is as per the harmonized system. You get a certificate which is 5 years valid. You have initial survey, annual and intermediate survey, annual intermediate survey, annual survey and renewal survey. Okay, and this has a period of plus minus 3 months, similar to all other surveys. So this is the survey. We don't have any much difference in the survey diagram. Initial survey, what is required, once you have the ballast water management, examining the design and construction, examining the ballast water management plan, examining the plans for the installation of ballast water management system. If applicable, examination of plans for installation of prototype ballast water treatment technologies. What documentation is being put there, confirmation that ballast water record book has been provided on board. Where is ballast water management system provided? Operation and technical manual for ballast water management system. It will tell you about each and everything, what all pumps are there, what is the capacity, how the pipelines are laid, and also any maintenance which is required, the spare parts which is required, everything will be mentioned. Equipment manual for major components, installation specification, initial calibration procedures provided. Once the pumps are installed, what is the calibration done? Sampling facility provided, where are the sampling points? Ballast water management system in conformity with type approval certificate. The type approval certificate has to be given there. It has been approved by the flag state. Ballast water management installation carried out in accordance with technical installation. Control and monitoring equipment operates correctly. Sufficient active substance are provided on board. Confirmation of satisfactory installation and operation of ballast water management system, including any audible and visible alarm. Is it coming? No. Okay. Periodical survey. This is you have got a certificate on board. Ballast water management procedure is carried out. Check ballast water plan is approved by on behalf of the administration. Check that detail of any ballast water operation carried out are recorded in ballast water record book. Periodic survey main points, where is ballast water management system provided, and all other things. Examination of external and ballast water treatment system. Confirmation that it's applicable active substances according with the manufacturer's recommendation in case you are using active substances. Confirmation that applicable doses, instructions for active substance or preparations are available. Intermediate and renewal survey. Now this periodic survey is annual survey or periodic survey which is there. It is done regularly. Now what are the guidelines? You look at the guidelines. This is G1, G2, G3. Sediment reception, ballast water sampling, ballast water management equivalent, ballast water management and development, ballast water reception facility. So whenever we are making a ballast water plan for a ship, we have to refer to all of them and then we have to proceed further. Ballast water exchange standard. Goal is volumetric exchange of ballast water up to 95% of the ballast water capacity. Flow through method. This is exchange we have already discussed. Even if I have it shown it again, not required to discuss again how exactly it is done. This is ballasting and deballasting, which we have shown in a diagrammatic diagram, that how exactly there is a main control panel, neutralizer unit, and where exactly it is going during ballasting and during deballasting. So this is just the basic diagram. How does it go? Okay, we have a neutralizer unit in between which is passing through the neutralizer unit, and then either you are ballasting or you are deballasting. Ballast water performance. Now again, as per the convention, what is required? So orgasm or less than 50 micromillions, which is coming. Indicator microbes, each and every detail is mentioned here. Approval of ballast water management system. This is the guidelines, how the flag states, or even if it is given to the classification society, how will they approve it? So for that, this is guidelines given in G8, and G9 is active substances, how to use active substances is mentioned there. So somebody has to go through it, then it is mentioned in the guideline book for the ballast water management. Okay. Now here is approval of ballast water management system. System not using active substance and system using active substance. Okay, for not using active substances, they require a land-based test, shipboard test, and then finally a certificate is issued. System using active substance is basic approval, land-based test, shipboard test, final approval, and then TA certificate. This is how the procedure goes assured with the, especially with the classification society. Ballast water scope of delegation to be verified. Possible national flag requirement may be applied. This is the last one. What are the methods through which the treatment can be carried out? Okay, number one is chlorine generation. We are using chlorine, chemical application. Third is filtration and radiation, in which we are using filtration and also we are passing UV rays to kill all the pathogens. Oxygenation, mixed inert gas generation on board, ozone generation on board and acts as a biocell. Then we require, in case we are putting ozone or chlorine. So these are the 5 processes which are presently more relevant. There is a new research which is continuously going on. They may come up with something new which will be added, but presently we have these 5 processes. Okay, so my friends, I hope you like part 2. Now part 3 which is coming up are actually more on the technical part, which is going to be all the 5 methods in which we are going, how the chlorine dosing or ozone dosing, or how we are going to clear what equipments, how the complete ballast water treatment plant which is kept there inside, we are going to discuss. Additionally, later, in case I find that there is certain problems which mariners face, I will discuss that. I appreciate if in case you will like, so give a thumbs up, give your valuable remarks about the same, and kindly subscribe to my channel. I need not say that. But more than that, also I am looking for your valuable input, that well, there is a little changes, or in case you find something is needed or added, or you have any query, please put it accordingly. So I am looking forward for that, and have a good day everybody, and safe sailing all my dear sailors. I hope you like part 2. Thank you. Okay. Viewers, I request all of you to kindly subscribe to my channel, and please also give your valuable inputs. Mariners all over the world, I request you to do the same. I am looking forward to upload some good videos for you, and please give your input. And the next videos on ballast water management is about the 5 systems which are presently getting either newly installed or retrofitted on boats. So we will discuss that. So all the mariners will have a principally understanding how exactly these equipments are working, the ballast water exchange equipments are working. So I'm looking forward. Bye till that time, and happy sailing. Thank you.